All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checkered TV. We are here tonight for the Area 51 TW Motorsports Superspeedway Truck Series tonight here at Talladega. As always, 75 laps is the race distance. All drivers have one faster pair available for the use. Hopefully they don't need it, but as we've seen throughout the season, it definitely has been coming in handy for a handful of these drivers. However, last week we have a new winner to the series, and that is going to be Gabe Butler getting the win. Sebastian Marin with the 2 wins, Gabe with 3. I was saying both those drivers with 2 top 5s as well, so pretty even between the two of them. Still a points advantage for Sebastian, but a lot of racing left to go. And I'm very thankful to have in the booth with me again Maxwell Caldwell. He was a little busy last week, had some other requirements that he had to take care of, but glad to have you back, Maxwell. And we're back to the wide Talladega, where we saw some 3 wide last week, but these guys are going to feel much more at home again going to that third line tonight.
Absolutely. It's good to be back, Gael. Sorry I had to miss last week. And I thought of something. That's the one race that we wasn't at Talladega that I missed. So every race I've been in this season have been right here at this track. So at least I can be consistent with Talladega. Tonight, Gael, I'm almost looking for the same thing. I know we had Gabe Butler pull out the win last week, but definitely looking for those Dale Cup guys to try to control this field again like they did the first 2 races here at Talladega. So looking forward to see if they can still do the same thing, but also going to be looking to see if Gabe Butler can go back-to-back and see if his team of drivers can start making their way to the front and start controlling these races instead.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see. Like I said, obviously the Dale Cup definitely strength and numbers for that team for sure. But then, I'm looking at some of the names here. We got a few names that we're very familiar with. Notably the 24 of Ryan Kelly. He's in the field here tonight. One of our Premier Series last season with the Xfinity Cars champion over there. So he's going to give these trucks here another try tonight. So a little different racing style, of course, than what he's probably used to. But pretty much put Ryan in anything, he's going to be quick. So we'll see what he's able to put up with tonight here in this one.
Absolutely, and I'll try not to give him too hard of a time up here in the booth. Me and him being teammates, even though he's not racing in my league on Monday nights, we still work together. Sometimes he's on the box for me, so I'm going to try not to pick on him too much tonight, but looking for him to run pretty strong. Like you said, it doesn't matter what he drives, what he's in. He's normally got speed. But when it comes to the restrictor plate side of things, I really don't know where his strengths and weaknesses are. So be interesting to see. And we also see him in a different numbered vehicle than we're used to. Normally, Ryan Kelly dominating in that 13. But tonight, he's in that 24 truck. So be interested to see how he runs tonight and see if he can team up with some of these guys or if he's going to be a lone wolf trying to get the W.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see who he teams up with. Obviously, he'll be pretty familiar with a lot of the guys in the league. You kind of wonder if maybe he'll kind of get together with some of the usuals that he's familiar with, like Michael Spell, Bud Steele, and even some of the boot knocker guys like Eric Laurie and Gabe Butler and company. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye, see if he finds any alliances, like you said, to kind of team up with, or does he just get to go lone wolf and kind of pick and choose who he wants to work with at any time in the race? So a lot of options available for that 24 car, or truck, I should say.
Absolutely. We've seen Ryan Kelly win a lot of races with different tire strategies and fuel strategies, but tonight I don't see that being the case. They all got to do the same thing. They all got to go the same amount of laps. And they all got to pit together. So it's going to be real interesting to see how this race shakes out tonight. Will we have more of what we had the first 2 races here at Talladega? Or are we going to have a little bit of a twist and surprise? Looks like we may even have a couple of new names in the field that at least I don't recognize. If they raced last week, I'm sorry that I missed that one and didn't see them, but definitely seeing some different names, and some of them kind of coming up toward the top of the charts here in qualifying.
Yes, and I agree with you there. So I think the few new names, few new faces again this season, over the course of the season, I should say. So yeah, I think you're spot on there, Maxwell. We're gonna have to kind of learn as we go. So what we're gonna do now is that qualifying just has completed. So we're gonna pull up our starting grid for tonight's event, and it looks like on pole position is going to be the 23 of Sebastian Marin. We've talked about how good of a season he's been having thus far. A little bit of a hiccup last week, but obviously a quick recovery for him. You got Zachary Lima next to him. Then you got Steve Krosik, John Gabbard, Gabe Butler, Jason Middleton. You got J.D. Crow, Tom Pritchard, Eric Laurie, Bud Steele, and then Robert DuPont and Ryan Kelly rounding out our top 12. So we continue on down there. You got Michael Spell, Donald Sadusky, Randy Miner, Nicholas Lamb, Mark Mastraya, Bob Fitzgerald, Donald Kendrick, and John Greenslade going to round out the drivers that put down a qualifying lap. And then 21st on back drivers opted to start towards the back here, not putting a lap down, including Jack Walls, Robert Rock, Jimmy Reynolds, James Hickson. And then the remainder of the group here, you've got B.K. Anderson, Todd Siebels, Dean Wilkinson, Dave Thatcher, and Mark Brown. So pending everybody starting tonight, we're going to have 29 trucks taking the grid here tonight. So definitely a pretty solid group of trucks here to take part in this one tonight.
Absolutely. And, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this deja vu with this front row of Sebastian Marin and Zachary Lima up front here? Seemed like we've seen this picture plenty of times here at Talladega already this season, Guile.
Yeah, I think this is 4 poles in a row, if I'm not mistaken, actually, as well for that 23 truck. So I'll say qualifying has got that one down to a T. And yeah, I definitely feel like we've been seeing those Red Bull paint scheme trucks at the front of the field in qualifying. And like I said, 1-2, I think more often than not. It looks like 28 trucks, it looks like, will actually be taking the grid here tonight. I say a little different paint scheme to that 23, as we saw. Let's say for those who maybe follow Formula One, saw the Red Bulls having a bit of a throwback paint scheme on their cars last week. So I think, or 2 weeks ago, I think I should say now. So I think Sebastian Marin kind of throwing tribute to that on that 23 truck. So some really good looking paint schemes there for those guys, but definitely expect to see them up front, kind of like we've seen throughout the season.
Absolutely. And, we've seen these Dale Cup guys up front controlling these races for plenty of times. And, tonight I'm looking to see who pulls it out, who does something different. We see Gabe Butler, last week's winner, starting in the top 5. Will he decide to stay up front this time, or is he going to drop right back to the back as he's done in the first 2 races here at Talladega? Daytona and Talladega drive so different. So what they did last week really may not apply much here. They may have this different strategy here. So I'm going to have to go tonight off of the first 2 races and what we saw there, and seeing how that team reacts this week to see if they're going to stay up front and try to stay out of the back of the pack, or if they're going to hang out yet again and survive a few wrecks to make it to be there at the end of this race.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And the thing is, you look around him, I believe he's pretty much surrounded by the Dale Cup drivers there in those trucks. The 95, 23, 49, and the 30, I think for sure, are all part of the Dale Cup team. And I believe Jason Middleton and Tom Pritchard are as well. So he's in a pretty much a Dale Cup sandwich right now. So he's going to have to try to find some friends if and when he wants to make that move to the front. And one of those trucks I think would be one to watch is going to be JD Crow. Not sure if JD's got any affiliations or not in that 35 truck, but we have seen him very quick throughout the course of the season. So it'll be a lot of fun to see. He's been a great pusher for a lot of drivers. So I would definitely watch for JD to have something here tonight as well. But it looks like pace car, I should say, heading out. That's going to hand it over to these front row of the 2 trucks, the 95 and the 23. Again, 4 pole positions in a row for Sebastian Marin. Just an amazing start to the season for him in qualifying. Now he's going to try to see if he can get that 3rd win of the season here as we're about to get going.
Absolutely. These drivers painstakingly pacing through the tri-oval, waiting on that green flag to come out. And here it is, Gael. Trucks already on the inside line, bumper to bumper, pushing down this short stretch, trying to get the best run they can down into turn 1. It's a complete dead heat here.
Yeah, so expect to see the inside line get the prevail that little bit there, that shorter distance while you're still building the speed, and then you'll see the outside line start to build that momentum again down the backstretch. But right now, Sebastian Marin looking pretty comfortable there. But as you see, here comes Steve Krosek. He's getting that big push down the back already right to the door.
Absolutely. Pulled out a line there, killed the momentum of the 23, hooked up with the 95. Let's see if coming out of turn 4, if he'll have enough momentum to clear that 23 and lead that all-important first lap to get those special bonus point there toward this championship.
Yeah, exactly right. And you can see again the inside line again pushes a little forward there through the turns. But then as they come through the exit, the outside line really starts to push a little harder. So it's going to be pretty much a dead heat at the line. But looks like Sebastian Marin just going to grab that first lap. So our pole sitter going to lead lap number 1.
Absolutely. If you think about it, this 23 may be really hard to beat for this championship, only for the simple fact he's qualified on pole all 4 races, getting bonus points there, and typically is leading a lap at each and every one of these events, if not leading the most. So really his strategy for this championship seems to be racking up those bonus points. But look, we talked about it earlier. Would Gabe Butler and Eric Laurie and that crew, would they drop to the back or stay up front? Look at that one truck all over the 23, knowing that's his rival for the championship. These two guys are two winners so far this season, looking to be the favorites. And look at them here running bumper to bumper, trying to work together early on.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's the thing. Even teammate or not, I say if you got that one truck of Gabe Butler or really any of the Dale Cup behind you, you're going to feel pretty good about having that pusher with you. I'd say until it comes to crunch time, where then you might start to see them try to make them move themselves to the front. But yeah, I mean, right now you look up front, you've got pretty much the who's who of the series thus far this season. Like you say, you got the one pushing that 23 truck, you got the 4995. We know how good they've been. And we mentioned that the 35 JD Crow, he's right there as well. John Gabbard's right there. So, I mean, we've got all our big hitters just right in the top 6 or so.
Absolutely. These guys just running door to door, racing really hard. You see the trucks kind of weaving out a little bit. Ooh, as Gabe Butler moves up to that second lane, he's going to try to take the lead from the 23 down the backstretch, having the 49 giving a big push. Will he be able to clear before the front stretch? Looks like he's going to stall out a little bit. Here they come down the tri-oval here. Coming to the start-finish line, and Gabe Butler is going to get that lap led. And apologies to me, I had my turns mixed up.
No, big move there by that one truck. And then again, another big move to be able to get himself back down to the inside as well. So I say Gabe making sure he finds the opportunities, and he's going to jump in them right off the bat. So Gabe showing he's not content just to ride like we talked about at the pre-race. So he's going to push and he's going to keep the aggression up. And again, I think you get those 3-4 races under your belt and you start to get familiar with those guys around you. And so I think that's exactly what you see there. Is I think you're starting to see that level of respect and a little bit of camaraderie, if you will, between Gabe with the Boot Knocker group and then, of course, the Dale Cup guys. I think that really goes a long way throughout the course of the season. I think that's just going to kind of keep that competition just all that more exciting throughout the course of the rest of the season.
Absolutely. You know, these two teams are probably going to go down to the wire between Team Boot Knocker and the Dale Cup guys. But, you know, Gabe Butler running up front, to me, this is an oddity. I think he's so used to being able to hang out, miss the wrecks. And look at him actually defending each line. Look at that move there out of turn 2. Moving up to the top side. He's going to play the line game. He's here to play for keeps. What I'm seeing here is an aggressive side of Gabe Butler that we're not used to seeing. And what I really think we're seeing is somebody that knows he has missed out on a lot of bonus points these first few races. And if he's not careful, that 23 can just consistently finish top 5 and run away with his championship. Now that Gabe's got that win, he's going to need to capitalize, and he's going to have to start trying to take some points away from these Dale Cup guys. I think he's out of his comfort zone, but I think this is what he has to do coming down toward the end for this championship run.
Yeah, exactly right. This is, like you said, some moves you don't expect to see from that one truck. Like you said, being more aggressive that we're familiar with, I would say, from him. But I would say safe. I would say safe moves. I say nothing too crazy, no blocks or anything like that. Just waiting, seeing where the momentum was, and kind of taking that run. Because if that 49 truck is Steve Krosek wanted, he could have jumped to the top side and kind of put him 3 wide there. Because again, he's got Zachary Lima right behind him, so there was the opportunity there. So I think right now these guys are content to just kind of do what they're doing here. I'm going to jump a little further back. The top 10 here is going to be that 32 truck of BK Anderson. Again, I believe a new face to the series here. And I mean, he's already gained 12 positions from his starting spot. So I'll say he is wasting no time to crawl his way up towards the lead pack here as well. So like I said, I believe the first race with the lead here, but wasting no time to show that he's going to be one to I think to watch as well.
Absolutely. And one other driver I got my eye on right now is you know, me being completely unbiased, but my teammate there, Ryan Kelly, unfamiliar territory. Why don't you look at where he's running at, Gael? Very tail end of the second pack. He is the last car out here on track right now. I think he's worried about the wrecks. He's worried about how these guys are pushing and being aggressive. And like you said, this is his first race this season. So just trying to make sure that he understands how these guys race, kind of pulling that Gabe Butler strategy back here. Just going to ride it out, hang out a little bit. And again, he probably doesn't have anybody that's really willing to work with him right now. So he's just trying to hang out and see who he can pit with and what he can do here in this race.
Yeah, I mean, 3 pit stops going to be in this race, so say no big hurry here. I said the big thing, of course, is going to be to be in that lead pack, let's say, around pit stop time. But we're going to jump back up front because we are now 3x3 for about 5-6 rows deep here, Maxwell. And it's the outside line. Steve Krosick, who's just got his nose ahead here. But you can see Gabe Butler's got kind of shuffled back now behind that 35 of JD Crow. And then you got Eric Laurie pushing the inside line. But right now, it seems like the outside has got a little bit more momentum. As you see, there goes actually JD Crow. He clears that inside line. He drops the inside, moves Gabe to the lead on the middle line. So it's like these guys are getting again. So you got plenty of room to work with here at Talladega, and they are using every inch of it.
Absolutely. I love seeing this 3x3x3. And Gaio, I'm not going to lie to you. That escalated very quickly. We go to the back for 1 minute and come back to them 3x3x3 like this. Great racing, but again, what we saw in these first two Talladega races, Gael, still seeing a lot of these trucks really wiggling on these straightaways, and even in the corners, just look at them swaying here. This is what caused a lot of the accidents in the first two races. And of course, I wasn't there at Daytona with you to see how that was, but these cars are just definitely squirrely with this Talladega package, and I love that. I think it promotes the great racing we see, but at the same time, it also promotes the very big crashes that we've seen some of the fastest guys caught up in. Those Dale Cup guys, both races here, got caught up in some big crashes. Luckily, they got to recover in the second race a little bit, but, you know, second verse, same as the first, I always like to say, you know, it happens so many times. And look at even Gabe Butler weaving in and out as he tries to push that 23. Eventually, this may go bad, but right now it's promoting some great side-by-side racing.
Yeah, a lot of wiggling going on. As you see there, Steve Krosick, he was able to get to the middle there. But you're right, though, a lot of movement like that, lateral side-to-side move definitely makes you nervous when you see that happening. I'm saying it's just, you hope that it doesn't happen at the wrong place at the wrong time, because as it starts getting a little closer to crunch time, everybody's going to start kind of squeezing each other a little more, and you're not going to be able to get away with those little bobbles back and forth. Right now, I see a lot of movement, though. So it looks like, again, it's hard to call it give and take, but I feel like we've kind of seen that when we've seen now Steve Krosick went from the top to the middle, now to the bottom, just kind of going where the momentum was, especially once he's cleared. And I think that's also, again, these guys are really working with one another, because you do this, like right now, we watched that 19 here of Donald Sadusky. He is pinned to the back of that 95 truck there of Zachary Lima. At some point, that truck's going to start to get hot as he pushes and pushes. And so eventually he's going to have to roll out and probably get a little bit of air to the nose, and that might be a little bit of movement we see as well. But I think you see these guys that are making those big moves from the middle to the top to the bottom and such. It's getting them air on the nose as well to let them breathe it a little bit more here, as right now that inside line starting to really push it forward here. I say that middle line really is almost a little bit contact. You see two drivers went for the same real estate there, but both drivers able to make a good heads up there to avoid it.
Absolutely. And you see this 3x3x3 is starting to break up just a little bit. And I think it's because some of these guys see all this movement, but as soon as somebody thinks that they're not going too fast, all of a sudden you see these big runs coming from these trucks behind. But look at that 98 right there in the middle. He is all over the place. And I think it's just aerodynamics, Gael, just pushing that truck around. I mean, look at him here in the corner. So hard to hold the middle when these guys are running so tight.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It gets so squirrely for these guys, but everybody's doing a really good job of keeping it pointed in the right direction. But you're right, though. I think especially, like I said, when you're in that middle line, I think that's especially where it just gets that little bit more dicey. So, but right now, say they kind of looks like settled in a little bit. But you're right, though. Donald Kendrick can actually need to speak about him, because he is plus 13 from his starting spot. So he has definitely moved his way to the front, and as you can see, he's been making those big moves. I say probably a little bit nervous during the course of this run so far, as again, lots of bobbles there from these guys, but so far still able to hang on to it. And do need to mention is that we're probably about, I'd say, 8-9 laps before we're going to see potentially our first set of green flag pit stops. But when you see the movement like this, you just have this, you got that sinking feeling where it's going to end in tears for a handful of drivers. We'll probably wind up having a first pit stop under caution.
Absolutely, and I was just going to bring up that point. Oh, and as you talked about in commentators first, here it goes. Big one here right at the front.
Yeah, so it's hard to see who isn't caught up in this one. At this point, you see a couple trucks sneaking by here, but a lot of trucks getting caught up in now in the 98 we just talked about. Jack Wall's actually caught up in that as well. There's Donald Kendrick, just mentioned Eric Laurie. I think John Gabbard got a piece as well. So we'll go back and we'll take a look. But yeah, we were it was looking dicey, and unfortunately, that is what happened there.
Absolutely. But, I said commentators curse, but, Guile, you saw it coming. These guys going 3 by 3 by 3. The middle line just got worse and worse as far as how much they wiggled. I don't know if that was even, I don't know if tire wear, I wouldn't even call it tire wear, maybe just the heat getting built up in the tires this late in the run and just the way they drive and all that aerodynamic mess that is that middle line. I don't know that doesn't make these trucks wiggly because it wasn't just one or two guys. I mean, we even saw Gabe Butler, who's I like to almost call a professional here at the plate races, wiggling around and moving a lot. So these trucks really were dancing in that middle line. And as much as it promoted great racing, it took out a lot of good trucks. And once again, 3 races in a row at Talladega, I should say, that the Dale Cup guys are yet again up in the front, but also involved in the mess. But also involved is someone we don't normally see in a wreck, and that's Gabe Butler. Got a little bit of damage to that truck. Look for a lot of guys to burn up their fast repair early here.
Yeah, I say it's actually a really good avoidance by Zachary Lima. It looks like a little bit of right front damage that he collected from that, but I think that truck will be okay. But yeah, a couple big breaks though. Say like mentioned though, with Zachary Lima able to sneak through there as well. We're gonna jump back live though, because obviously a lot of trucks having to, like I said, go ahead and get some damage repairs. Some had to take tows right off the bat, unfortunately. We'll jump back live here and get back up to speed because, like I said, here are the leaders hitting pit road. And I would expect we will see out of this 23 truck our pole sitters, Sebastian Marin. I don't think we'll see a fast repair. I think he's going to probably try to get as much as he can get repaired here manually. I think that's going to be his best bet. And like I said, unfortunately, a handful of drivers that had to take a tow, I believe, include Eric Laurie in the 071 and Donald Kendrick, if I'm not mistaken. Whereas everybody else looks like they're going to go ahead and get service done to their trucks. And a couple of very quick stops for our top 2, Donald Sadusky and Robert DuPont. Zachary Lima out. It looks like probably 4 tires and fuel for him. And then, like I said, a lot of other drivers here getting service and probably some damage repairs done to their trucks.
Absolutely. We do see the one of Gabe Butler in the 23 staying here, Sebastian, in pit road, trying to fix damage. But, guys, I've watched a lot of these guys come in with some major rear end damage. A lot of them choosing to just try to fix it manually. They're not wanting to take the fast repairs right now. And, that's going to be fine and dandy until they go a lap down. If the trucks can't hold speed, or maybe they're damaged more than they look, especially in the suspension, and these trucks start falling to the rear and losing the draft and not as fast as the lead pack, they'll get swallowed up pretty quick. So it's going to be the big fear of, I know they don't want to take a fast repair on lap 15 of a 75-lap race, and I completely agree with them here, but they are taking a risk that these trucks will be able to keep up in speed. Now, they don't look too badly damaged, especially on the noses, but I do see the 23 does have some right front damage there by the hood, and then he's got that little bit of rear damage as well. I mean, that could be enough with both ends. It doesn't take much damage at these plate races to start falling back, Kyle. So, interesting strategy by the 23 and the 1 and the 49 and some others. A lot of guys choosing not to use those fast repairs. Maybe they'll all be damaged together and can all still run as a pack. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely some trucks with pretty significant damage. Really looks like the nose of Gabe Butler a little worse off from what I'm seeing compared to Sebastian Marin. So yeah, so all these trucks have a little bit of different places where the damage is on these trucks, but yeah, and I think draft being the great equalizer, I think this is going to help them out here a little bit. Do have a handful of trucks topping off. I'm going to start off with Zachary Lima. It looks like pretty much the top 8 or so are going to stay out, but pretty much everybody else on back are going to go ahead and get that splash of fuel. So that's going to add a whole nother wrinkle here as well, Maxwell, because now these guys are going to have to make sure that they're going to all restart single file, so they're going to have to be very careful not to lose that draft like you just talked about. As you see, Eric Laurie just now rolling out of the pits from his tow. I believe puts him 2 laps down at the moment and is the only truck a lap or more down at the moment. Unfortunately, I believe Donald Kendrick has retired from the event in that 98 truck, which will now leave us 27 left in the race, 26 of which are on the lead lap still.
Yeah, and that's a real bummer to see Donald Kendrick out. Was running pretty well in this race. And even if you had to tow and go a lap down, I feel like the way these races at Talladega went, you could have got your lap back, could have been right there in the thick of it yet again. But, maybe there's some things going on there that we don't see, though. but it's going to be a rough finish in the points tonight for Donald Kendrick. But can I bring up one thing, Gael, that's a little bit interesting?
Always.
Remember the driver I said was at the very, very back with no friends and didn't know what he was really doing? Guess who made it through that wreck unscathed and still has that fast repair left? That 24 of Ryan Kelly. He's probably going to secretly hang out. He also topped off, which shows me that he's in no hurry to get to the front. But once we hit about lap 60 and get past that last pit stop, look for that 24 to start driving up through the field.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see what he can do. I mean, right now, I'm looking at the top 10 here, Maxwell, and right now, everybody in the top 10 has gained at least 7 positions from their starting position. Our leader right now, Donald Sadusky, plus 13. Then you got 9 for Robert DuPont, 6 plus 7 for Bud Steele, 9 for Michael Spell. So pretty much, like you said, that big wreck up front, it's pushed all of our race leaders towards the back here. Sebastian Marin, the first of those that are towards the back. And all these guys from 22nd down to 26th have all lost 20 or more positions just from that incident. So it's amazing. Just like that one big wreck up front really shook up the field here. But now it's going to be up to Donald Sadusky. Again, he's got control on this restart here. Once that pace car ducks in, that 19 truck, he can go whenever he chooses. So again, if he goes early, that could really split up the field again.
Absolutely. And look, we've only got 3 rows of 2 wide and everybody else single file behind where they came down pit road and topped off. So we got a lot of guys on the same strategy, someone different, but this top 6 is going to try to take off. And we see some guys trying to get that jump on the restart and jump up to that second lane. But it is the 19 of Donald Sadusky, a plate racer through and through, and been plate racing for many years on iRacing. Going to take the lead with Bud Steele pushing. They should both clear Robert DuPont after they get out of turn 2.
Yeah, it looks like easily clear. You see Bud Steele actually jump straight to the top, wants to be the leader of that outside line. And it's going to work out well for him because, like you said, Robert DuPont gets a great push on that 6 truck. They're going to push both of them clear of Donald Sadusky there. Even the 3rd truck there might spell as well. So I'll say it's a great move there by Bud there to jump on the top. So that's going to promote those guys now up to the top 3.
Absolutely. And, it's good to see Michael Spell up front mixing it up. I would say he's got a lot of momentum on his side. Gael, did you know that in the Monday Night League, he almost won his first, I would call it Premier Series race win at, wow, I done forgot the track. That's really bad. But yeah, he almost got a 1.5 mile win in that 88 machine on Monday night a couple of weeks ago. And it was a heartbreaker. Ran out of fuel in turn 4. It was shades of Dale Jr., but now he's running up front. Running 3rd in line, going to try to look for a win in this truck series, try to get Area 51 win, and some hard pushes from that 5 truck of Nicholas Lamb to Donald Sadusky. I'm watching that truck wiggling a little bit, so definitely got some hard pushes still. And look at Ryan Kelly, he's actually hanging out up front a little bit in this front pack. Kind of shocked to see him not drop back a little bit, but maybe he doesn't want to be behind some of those damaged trucks in the back. But definitely some new players in the mix here, so I would say the front's still not a safe place because now these guys are going to be super aggressive probably to try to lead a few laps to get some bonus points.
Yeah, it's always you say you get towards the front, that temptation to get that little bit more always gets bigger and bigger. I was going to get a little nervous about the gap between some of the trucks, but it looks like it's starting to get singled back in a little bit. So there's a bit of a gap between Zachary Lima and that lead pack, but they're starting to push the gap back in. However, from John Gabbard on back, they're a little further back here, about a second off those trucks in front, so they're going to have to hustle a little bit. Also, Gabe Butler, we talked about his nose damage. I think is really affecting that one truck. I think, like you said, unfortunately, this is probably going to cost him the draft. He's going to get a little bit of help from James Hickson, but right now, say not what he needs, and say I think this is pretty much the telltale that he's going to have to burn that fast repair right off the bat here, because I say actually, as I said, he's going to lose his drafting partner. So the same right now for that one truck, he is definitely in a tough spot now.
Absolutely. And it's funny you bring that up because I was literally looking at the results page and dropped back to look at them as you brought them up. They say great minds think alike, Gael, and me and you, we got some great minds, I'd say. So definitely was looking at that. And Ryan Kelly having to avoid a huge wreck, and in the back on his roof, flipping a truck goes down, but no caution. It's down in the infield. But Ryan Kelly definitely had to swerve to miss another wreck that could have started up front. Man, and this 5 truck really wiggling around. Don't know what's going on with that truck, but definitely heating up front. But now that things calmed down for just a minute, what I was trying to say was Gabe Butler and those guys that wrecked, I called it, that they might have more damage than they initially thought. I've been in that spot thinking, man, it don't look bad. This ain't going to be too bad. And all of a sudden, it's just enough to keep you from that lead pack. So if Gabe Butler goes a lap down and he's not the first truck a lap down when a caution comes out, he's going to be in big, big trouble for the rest of this race, Kyle. And that'll be huge for the point standings.
Yeah, exactly. I went back and go look at that contact again with Robert A. Rock there. As I had a little bit of contact, I think it was with Jason Middleton. I think maybe just a push gone wrong there where they're trying to work their way back up towards the front. And unfortunately, that's dropped them way off the back. The one thing that has done is that's given Gabe Butler a friend here with Jason Middleton. So now again, a little bit more speed. Not what they need, obviously, but at least a little bit more to help their cause out. But we're going to jump back up front, though, because these guys, again, we're getting back to that 3x3, 3 trucks deep at the moment. And some of those trucks with that damage, I mean, you look at the 23s there, the 49s right there, and the 95. I don't believe the 95 was involved in the incident, but I say he's working with his teammates as well. So they have found speed as you get a big top-to-bottom move there. Say the elevator rope gets to the front and goes straight to the inside line.
And Gael, the 95 did have some rear damage from that initial first caution, but the 49 I thought fixed some of his rear damage, and I could be wrong, but it almost looks like it's worse as if he got hit again. I don't think he did, but it really looks crushed in a little bit more than it did.
Yeah, that right rear definitely pushed up on that truck. We'll hop on board here with Zach Galino and get a better look at it. As you can see, yeah, that right rear just really pushed up there, but so far so good. We'll see if he's able to lead with it or not. I say, it's one of those things when you're behind somebody, like I said, the draft usually the great equalizer. But I say when you're the leading truck on this outside line now, might be a little bit of a different story. But so far, holding pretty steady with that 32 of BK Anderson. So these guys are doing what they can with those damaged trucks. And Sebastian Marin, somehow, we mentioned the damage. We believe he's got found his way back to the front in that 32, or sorry, in that 23.
Absolutely. And look at the big move by Donald Sadusky to go to that middle line and take the lead. But it may not be for long. That 49 getting a huge push from the 95 as they go off into turn 3. These guys are racing hard. And all those Dale Cup guys somehow made their way back up front with damaged trucks. Tell me these Dale Cup guys do not have just absolute raw speed week in and week out, Gael. It's just amazing to see how quick they can get back to the front, even with a truck that's not 100%.
Yeah, and that's the most impressive part. Is, like I said, those trucks all have some damage to them. It's a big move there, Sebastian Marin. As soon as he cleared it straight to the inside, and it's going to put the 49 again back towards the front on the outside. I said, one truck we haven't talked about now, he's in the mix here. That's 66 here, Mark Mastrella. I think he's that third truck on the outside line, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, so say he's right now running just inside the top 10 here. So great job by him early on as well as working his way up, avoiding the first incident, now in a good position here. And then even Jack Wall is recovering from, I believe, having to take his one and only fast repair as a big bobble there by the 32 truck. But it looks like they're going to hang on to it. But it's starting to get a little dicey again. I think everybody's starting to get antsy. And here comes one, Michael Stell actually hitting pit. Oh no, actually hitting the pit wall, the inside wall there. Not sure if he actually maybe had contact that pushed him down there. That was a very interesting situation. I'm going to go back and take one more look at it because I think he may have actually got a push that sent him down into the pits instead of him actually planning a pit stop. I'll have to go look and see. And actually, that truck just cut straight left there, Maxwell. I'm wondering, so I know, Michael, I think he's using a new VR system. I wonder if that VR may have had a hiccup possibly. And unfortunately, really is going to hurt that 88 truck as he's in pit road now. So yeah, I have a feeling probably a hardware issue there that's put Michael in a tough spot.
Absolutely, and that's when I saw that truck turn off. I thought he was just coming to pit road until I went back and saw the replay here on Green White Checker TV because you're so good at pulling them up when I'm not very fast at it. But, a lot of these guys, when they do have hardware issues, it's what I thought when I saw it. The 23 about got turned down in front of the 19. But, normally when these guys have hardware issues, that's the thing you do is you kind of lock it left, and if you hit a wall, you hit a wall. It's better to take yourself out of it than to wreck the whole field. So, courtesy move by Michael Spell, but, man, it's really going to hurt him after he was running up front and running so well. But I will say that whenever you talked about one of those drivers a couple laps ago, I think it was the 35 or one of them that got really, really loose from a push, the 32 maybe.
Oh, yeah.
And right before that, the 23 and 19 were up in the front pushing hard, and I tell you what, we about had the 23 hooked. I mean, he about got spun out right there on the backstretch. That 19 is laying into the bumper, that 23 lap after lap. So definitely have to be careful up front. But that 66 you brought up, Mark Mastrella, he is coming to the front. He is running fourth, pushing that 49. And Donald Sadusky hitting that apron in the trial, really getting that thing loose. These guys are going after it up front right now.
I say there is no rest for these guys up front, it seems like. And so the other thing to mention is, I know we've talked about before, but worth repeating, that trial on the very inside line, it is extremely bumpy on the very bottom line up against the yellow line, so it just makes it that much more difficult to hug that white line, or the yellow line, I should say, than you want to. And especially when you're tucked up right on somebody, you're not going to quite get the view you're looking for. So I think that's also one of those things where you're going into these races, you're kind of blind if you're that second, third, fourth truck on the inside row. You're kind of at the mercy of where that truck in front of you is running, hopefully not leading you to a bad position.
And some things that people don't think about often, Gael, is it's fine to be tucked up right behind somebody, and it's also fine to be close down on that apron. But when you've got a truck on your outside taking side course away from that right side, that is really when the truck wants to push up more in that tri-oval and get really, really squirrely. Because if you're single file, it's never a big issue and you don't see people move that much. But when you got those trucks like the 49 and 66 right there on your outside and kind of running even on your door a little bit as you're tucked up, that 19 truck is getting absolutely no air whatsoever. So if he clips that apron even a touch, it is really going to upset that truck. And I think that's what we're seeing with that 19 in that tri-oval. But it's not affecting him too bad, because look at him laying in 23 and another big moment right there, Gael. That's kind of some of that movement I'm seeing where they touch and start wiggling and the 23's back in dances. There's another one coming out of 4. That's the moments I told you missed on the backstretch, except it was even worse than that. So that 19 definitely pushing hard, and I'm sure the 23 doesn't appreciate almost getting hooked lap after lap.
Yeah, definitely some big pucker moments there for that 23 truck. Quick hands, though, from him. But I'm gonna go back here a little bit, because shockingly, we actually do have a truck that's riding here of the Dale Cup guys, and that's the 95 of Zach Lima, the 30 of John Gabbard. They're actually, like, I don't think we've seen it before, but they're cruising here. They're taking it easy. They're, I think, playing it safe right now. They're right now in the lead pack, but also single file, so they're in a nice little pocket, I feel like. And then they're starting to separate themselves just a little bit here from Bob Fitzgerald in that 08 truck. Obviously, Bob has to be a little careful not to fall too far back. And then the other thing, too, Eric Laurie is still in that preferred position. The first truck a lap or more down here is 2 down, like I mentioned, though, but is in that position should a yellow come out here. So right now, as I say that 08 truck, a little, I don't know if it's a push gone wrong, but actually had to chase it down to the apron. Hopefully didn't catch the pit cone there. He's going to merge back on track and might be able to just tack onto the back of this 55 Dean Wilkinson and keep that draft.
Absolutely. And Gael, as I look through the leaderboard, you know, we talked about it, but we hadn't brought it up in a while because there's been so much action. But look who is the last car on the lead lap. Over 28, probably close to 29 seconds by the time we cross the start-finish line back. That one of Gabe Butler. Actually, no, sorry, 30 seconds back as it just updated. Definitely losing over a second a lap. Gael probably beating himself up right now for not taking that fast repair while he could. Because if we don't get a caution and we have green flag pit stops, I'm afraid not only is Gabe Butler going to go a lap down, but I'm afraid he won't be the first truck a lap down then. And then it's really going to be a fight for that lucky dog to try to even get back in this race. And by the time he does, will he have enough time to get up here and run up front? Or is he going to have to settle for the position he's at now, a 23rd place finish, as it's getting dicey up front and they're starting to look at 3 wide again, Gael?
Yeah, you're exactly right there. I say the one thing that Gabe does have going for him is he's got a couple of helpers with him. He's got Jason Middleton, who's on the same lap as him. And then they've also got James Hickson and Robert Rock as well. So they do have some more speed. Like I said, they're still a lot slower than the leaders, but at least they do have a bit of help there. And actually, I say we need to think about the fuel mileage here, like you're talking about, because they last pitted on lap 14, lap 15. We're coming up here across the 32, so I'll say we're approaching pretty much about 17, 18 laps since they last pitted. So That window is going to be opening here very shortly. And again, this won't be the last stop to the end, so I think they're going to still have at least one more afterwards, possibly even a splash at the end, if I'm not mistaken. So I think we're going to start seeing, I think we're kind of seeing it now. Everybody's starting to shuffle themselves to get to that inside line to be ready for that first stop.
Well, you know, we got good news for you, Gaio. At least this time when you said it, we didn't have our caution yet, but the bad news is I think we still might get one before green flag pit stops. These guys up front, just watching some of these pushes, and if you watch it at 19, having to really move away from that 5 there going into turn 3, they're just darting, and they're not the 3x3 like we had, but man, these pushes are aggressive. Look at that bottom line, almost a triple bump here. That's normally when that middle truck gets really upset, and we can see some big crashes. On top of that 66, just getting right on the door of the 19. These 5 trucks up here are going really hard, and we've seen that 5 truck himself be very squirrely when he's up front trying to be aggressive. So definitely not out of the woods yet, hoping for no caution here. I'd love to see some green flag stops, but man, Gael, it's, I don't know. Commentator's curse was earlier, but now as we see Donald Sadusky poke out in the 19, he's going to try to work with that 66 to get by these Dale Cup guys, because he knows that they're teammates, he knows they're going to work together. He's going to try to get out of that groove and see if he can't go and take the lead here and hopefully do it before green flag pit stop.
Yeah, that's the key thing, is once you commit yourself to that outside, you got to make sure you have a way to get back in and not risk yourself going down or losing fuel possibly before you can make your pit stop. So you see, like you said, a big squeeze there on that 23 truck that's crashing there. And I said, actually, I'm going to have to do some questioning. I say we get some interviews with these guys afterwards, because I was looking out the back of the 49 of Steve Krosek, and say it's got Lima on the back, so I'm guessing that's the pronunciation for that 95 truck of Zachary. So I'm guessing it's actually Zachary Lima, not Zachary Lima. Maybe we'll get a chance to interview one of those 3 tonight. That's like get some clarification on that. So if that's the case, I'll say some nice subtle hints on the pronunciation of some of these names.
Absolutely, and Gael, just as a little inside joke between me and you, I don't think I have to bring up too much about insider information on some of these trucks. You know, I never saw anything on that 67 of Larry Yingling as far as insider information last season. Did you?
No, so definitely Larry's going to keep all the secrets to himself if he had the opportunity. I was actually able to, it was fun. I got to chat with Larry a little bit earlier today, give him a hard time. But he's enjoying a little bit of a break right now. I'm trying to kind of con him back into doing some racing again, but right now he's enjoying a little bit of a vacation from the competition of iRacing, it looks like.
Oh yeah, sometimes you can get a little too into it, you know, and sometimes it's if you're like me, you really get into these leagues and these point championship battles and stuff, and sometimes they can stress you out. I mean, I've had a few races, Gael. You've interviewed me for a few back in the day where I maybe wasn't the happiest driver in the world. So, the 19 making an aggressive move to come down pit road, and here comes a slew of them. Green flag stops. Who's gonna speed?
So that's a big entry by that 95. Hopefully got down to speed. That was a big, and honestly.
And the caution is out.
Yeah, it's out.
This is huge for these guys pitting right now. They'll get to get their stops in and cycle out as the leaders again, but I knew it was too good to be true to get some green flag stops in.
Yeah, so now the question is going to be for those that are on pit road, were they in before the pits closed? Because they had to have been past the commitment cone. That's job number 1. And then from here, you also wonder, does anybody adjust their strategy, maybe put some tires on these trucks now instead of a splash of fuel? We're going to go back and try to see what exactly happened, though, to bring out this yellow. Because it was after the pit stops had begun. So we're going to go back. I know it involved BK Anderson and Jack Walls. And actually, you can see a couple of trucks already spinning there. So let's go back a little further here. So it looks like there's a couple. Actually, it looks like Ryan Kelly as well. So we're going to start off with the number 5 truck here. That is Nicholas Lamb. We were talking about him earlier. Let's try to take a look to see how this all unfolded. So you see Jack Walls. He's on the inside line. You see the 5 truck in the middle. It seemed like they kind of have met each other. I wonder if it's maybe a mistimed move here or not. No, actually the 5 just comes down on the door of the 83. Maybe he didn't realize the 83 was still there. And then you can see the contact between the 5 and the 24. And then you also see a little further back the 83. He gets in contact with, I believe that was the 30. I'm trying to remember the numbers here. But you can see pretty much most of the trucks. Oh, big hit as well there. think that was the '07 if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so a lot of trucks unfortunately caught up on this one. I think it was the '07 though. I saw that got some motor damage out of that. So I'm trying to jump around here. I'm not finding the car numbers quick enough here. Apologies.
And I'll tell you what, as I look in this mess and I watch that 24 of Ryan Kelly, he was on that third lane all by himself trying to stay out of trouble, gets smacked by the 5. But I tell you what, all it looks like it did was turn him. I don't know that 24 really has any damage, though the pace car did just drive right through his driver's side door. So that might have hurt a little. But all in all, I think that truck actually has no damage on it from what I could see in the replay.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely a handful of trucks with some damage here. It was Robert DuPont. Yeah, it was Robert DuPont that I was talking about that got a pretty big hit there. And so even got motor damage as well. So we're going to jump back live, though, because I don't want to fall too far behind with everything going on here. Because I say, like you said, though, those trucks that pitted under that caution, they were in a nice little catbird seat there. And it looks like Donald Sadusky is going to be the first to win the race out of pit road there. And then J.D. Crow come out in second. But actually, I believe pretty much everybody third on back. Looks like pretty much everybody actually came back in under that caution, even those that pitted under green, if I'm not mistaken here, Maxwell.
Absolutely. So a bunch of different guys pitting at different times. Is it sad to say I'm shocked to see that the 23 and some of those guys did not have speeding penalties as hot as they came down pit road right before that caution?
You know what, actually, I think the 95 of Zachary Lima did have a speeding penalty, but that caution completely saved him, Maxwell, because he's still on the lead lap. He had a 51-second pit stop, which a stop and hold is usually about 40 seconds. So based on that, I'm going to say probably an 11-second stop plus the 40 hold. So I think the timing of that caution, just a huge savior for that 95 truck. But it looks like he was, I believe, the only one to get caught speeding on the entry, though.
Wow. So the 23 just had an amazing entry then. The 95 got a huge lucky break. Oh, it's always so interesting, Gaia, when we get these cautions to come out right as the green flag stops start. But what a lucky break for those guys to be down pit road where these leaders had to pit, brings them right back into the game. And, man, it's going to show us some more intense racing. Do you count this as us actually having green flag pit stops? I mean, how do you view this?
We'll call that a half a green pit stop. How about that? Because
we'll have to get our viewers here to let us know if that was legitimately a green flag stop or if that was a caution flag stop. Because they got under their green, but then the caution immediately waved. So I guess we got both at once.
It's a little bit of both, yeah. And also need to mention a huge break though from when we were talking about those trucks that lost the draft. We obviously talked about the one at Gabe Butler. I think still actually opting to try to get services done to that truck. I believe still getting damage repairs. So maybe didn't get all of them repaired in that one truck. That may have been why he was off pace. I still see a little bit of rear end damage on that truck. I'm trying to tell a little closer if it maybe he did use a fast repair. I can't tell offhand. But then also I believe with him was I'm trying to remember the car number or truck number now. I believe it was trying to hunt down my list of drivers here. And per usual, as I'm losing the driver, because I know there's two drivers that are on the tail in that lead lap here, but but either way, though, both those drivers get back onto the lead lap. Unfortunately, we have a handful of retirements though after that one. Maxwell, so I'll pull up the list here that retired here just a moment here, because I believe it's gonna be about 5. It's gonna be Eric Laurie. And then you've got John Greenslate, Tom Pritchard, Michael Spell. Looks like all of those guys have retired, unfortunately, after that last incident. And we got a couple drivers a lap down as well. John Gabbard, we saw him get a real bad shot from that. Nicholas Lamb as well. All those drivers caught up in that one. Dean Wilkinson coming back out on track now. I believe still on the lead lap in 20th here. It actually looks like Nicholas Lamb just retired. So pretty much everything's starting to really shake up again. But yeah, so we'll get back up front here because we're about to go green here. And this is going to be coming to lap number 39. So pretty much right at the halfway point of this one. So to me, that means I believe, so I'm trying to do the math here, and I'm not good at it, but I think they still can make it on, I think it's a one stop from here if I'm not mistaken. It might be a splash.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting. And, some of these guys are pretty great fuel savers. What if some of them save right here from the get-go? And maybe they can stretch it and not have to have a splash. All it would take is one more caution that they could stay out and save some fuel. I know some guys topped off here right before the green. So as the green flag comes out, we have Donald Sadusky leading JD Crow on the outside. These two guys were up front for a good portion of the last run, and they're up front again. We've got Bud Steele there in third, trying to push that 19 yet again. Seen this combination already in the race, and they're going to make it work very well with the 66 following as they get ready to come out of turn 2. The 35 looking all alone here for just a moment.
And there goes Bud again, going to try to make lightning strike twice there. Jumps to the top side as soon as he got the momentum, but doesn't have any help with him yet. And that 66 looks like he's going to stay with that 41 truck. So right now, I think advantage is going to go back to Donald Sadusky here.
And look at the run by Ron Kelly.
I was going to say, by himself, it's a huge run there. Won't be able to clear these guys, but had he had a helper there, that would have been, I think, a move from the bottom to the top to get the lead there.
And honestly, in that situation, Gaio, I think I know what Ryan did. He had such a big run that even if he tried to lift, he was probably still going to run into the 35. So it was better for him to just take that momentum to the outside, knowing it wasn't going to work, just to prevent from having to lift or prevent from having to hit the 35 of JD Crow. You know, he was just playing it safe there at the start. But for him to spin that truck out in that last caution and to be running top 5 right now, that's pretty great for that 24 truck, I'd say. Definitely got lucky with no damage in that one, but just starting to work his way to the front, Gael.
Yeah, so you can see it's starting to lace everything again. The running order definitely shifting once again here. Pretty much one of the only kind of regular front runners has been JD Crow, who's up in this mix as well. And I do believe they will be good to go, all drivers here on one stop to the end, because they pitted there on lap 36. I say we're at 36 to go now on lap number 40, so I think it's going to be right on the one-stop window. Might be a little tight, probably not enough of a window for green-white checkers, but I think we might see that strategy as well. But again, we're going to talk about some of those drivers that were towards the back here earlier. It's like Gabe Butler, he's in that lead pack, and the other driver I was talking about before that I was blanking on was Jason Middleton. I believe he was the other one involved in that incident early on where that yellow did not come out. And he's also there as well. So. And even Robert Rock, if I'm not mistaken, that truck went up and over in the backstretch. He's back in the mix on this thing on the lead lap as well in that 171 truck.
That's what I'm saying. You can have a bad wreck, but instead of having to retire from the race, just have that attrition, knowing that yellows will breed yellows, and you can be right back in the thick of things at a place like Talladega Superspeedway. So as we see some of the guys racing there in the back going 3 wide, they really lost a lot of spots doing that, starting to funnel their way to the back. We see the 19 up front with the 66 just quietly riding behind. And these guys starting to string out single file, Gaio, a little bit up front. And that tells me either A, they're tired of all the crazy hardcore racing, which I doubt, or B, maybe this bottom line is thinking fuel save.
Yeah, I definitely would be with you on that one. I think fuel safe, but as we joked about before, I say there is no cruise for those Dale Cup guys. Here they come, a big charge on the outside, the 49 leading the 23 and the 95. It looks like they're going to try to get all 3 of them cleared here. So 3 and 4. So far the 49 is cleared. He's going to drop low, and that's going to leave a few trucks. As they see a little bobble there for the truck trying to kind of follow through there. That's going to now put Steve Krosek to the lead for the moment, because here comes Sebastian Marin once again with help from the 95 of Zachary Lima. And once again, there comes that 35 of JD Crow working the third line without any help here, but did get a nose ahead there. So they kind of almost pulled a little bit of Ryan Kelly there on that last lap.
Yeah, these trucks get really, really big runs. Once you get them wound up, they're just so big and bulky that they cut through the air and, you know, just leave a huge wake for you to get up in. But I don't know. I actually think he was trying to take that run and do something with it, but with no help from behind, you're never going to go very far. And notice that 49 still has not taken their fast repair. Neither has the 23 or the 95. It seems like they're still just as damaged as they've been all race long, and just as fast too, still running that top side. We know that those 3 are definitely not planning any fuel save whatsoever, but what people up front here are maybe trying to save a little bit of gas. I would definitely say, however, though, as far as fast repairs go, Gaio, looks like Gabe Butler may have finally took his, but it seems to be that he is right here in the lead pack, just able to ride and cruise. Maybe now's the moment he got saved by that, knew his lesson, didn't want to do that again. Now he's going to go and fuel save, I'd imagine, and try to stretch this thing on one stop.
Yeah, exactly right. So I'm trying to tell for sure that I do see still a little bit of damage to that truck. Don't know if it's from maybe a separate incident that happened after the fast repair or not. As I feel like I see a little bit of kind of some scuffs on the left-hand side of that truck and also the right rear spoiler. So, but yeah, either way, the truck definitely performing much, much better now. But you're right, though. I think we're seeing a lot of fuel save because the other thing is we're talking about that fuel window. We had a few trucks that did not pit after that kind of the green flag / caution pit stop, as you see. The 30 truck there, I believe that was on the top side of John Gabber. That truck in definitely rough shape. He's just going to try to make some laps here. As they might be able to get a few laps from drivers that retired early, things of that nature. So hats off to him for trying to stick it out here. But yeah, you're right, though. On the fuel side of things, though, I'm looking. So for instance, Donald Sadusky, he last pitted on lap number 35. It was 35 for JD Crow as well. But some of these guys topped off on lap 37. So I'll say they've got that little bit of extra fuel, and yeah, we talked about it should be right on the edge of that fuel window. So they might be able to build that little bit of a margin just in case of that green light checkered potential.
Absolutely. I think the guys that topped off, they're in the catbird seat because they're going to sit back there. They have no reason to run to the front. These guys up front that are going really, really hard, they're probably going to have to make that splash and go right at the end if there's no caution. And I think these guys up front are banking on another caution, knowing how the first two Talladega races have went, and knowing that, oh, what an argued debate here of whether we had a green flag pit stop or not, but knowing that there's that potential that we can go a third race without green flag pit stops. So definitely probably banking that one caution can put them on the same page as the rest of those guys as far as making it on one stop. But if they don't get that caution, that's where they're really, really, really going to be in trouble. But they're plate racing, Gael. Why not gamble a little bit, right? Sometimes gambling is how you get the W's in these leagues, so especially when it comes to plate racing. So I like a good gamble every now and then in a race. Makes things exciting, makes you race on edge. But we know these Dale Cup guys, they're definitely gambling for one more caution, and they're not saving a drop right now, are they?
No, so running the top side and running as fast as they've been, yeah, so you kind of expect the fuel mileage to be definitely a bit on the more aggressive side. The thing is, like I said, we still got pretty much 19 trucks in the thick of this one. And so we haven't talked about a couple trucks. We mentioned Dean Wilkinson a little earlier. He's still in the mix here in the 19th spot. Todd Siebel's right in front of him. I don't even think I've talked about Todd at all tonight. But I think Todd just keeping that truck clean and keeping himself out of trouble and waiting for that right time to make those big moves and get towards the front here. Similar goes for Dave Thatcher in the 420 truck. I don't think we've seen really everything that we'll expect to see from Dave. And I say there's going to be some teammates around them. So you see Randy Miner right in front of them, teammates with that truck. A little further back, we just mentioned Dean Wilkinson, also part of that team. So I wouldn't count out those TW Motorsports drivers as of yet. And again, Robert A. Rock there in the 171, he flipped in the backstretch not that long ago. He got that fast repair, got the lead, got back on the lead lap, and he's in the thick of this thing as well. So they've got all of their trucks still on the lead lap here in this lead draft. So they just need to make sure that they keep it there once it comes time to that last rush to the finish here.
Absolutely. Gael, I'm not going to lie. I kind of hope we get an interview with both the 23 and the 19 because the pushes that 19 have gave the 23 all race long have been borderline on whether they're going to wreck him or not. I look at him even now. Look how squirrely the 19 is on the back bumper of that 23. I don't know if this is aggression and him getting tired of him being in front of him, if they're cutting each other off and getting upset, but definitely don't think the 19 and the 23 have been getting along much of this race because look at the 19 just pile driving the nose into that 23. It's just very, very, very aggressive bumping from the 19, and they almost wrecked last lap by going into turn one. So I've been just slowly keeping an eye on this little battle up front because these Dale Cup guys, they are super aggressive, and man, they can hold on to something when it's really loose.
Yeah, you're right. So definitely a lot of movement back and forth. I mean, that is. Would you say that again?
I would say that one was aggression, Gael, wouldn't you?
That definitely was not a square push, and that was everything both of those guys had to keep those trucks pointing in the right direction. So, yeah, I think. Oh, here we go.
And somehow that wasn't between the 19 and 23. It had a little. The aggression! The retaliation from the 23. Wow! What a hit after the caution. Admins may have to review that one. Gael, did you see that?
I did not. We'll go back and we'll definitely look at that. But yeah, I think, like I said, definitely, probably, like, it definitely sounds like frustrations were boiling between the two of them. Let's see. It's just, yeah, you don't know how people are going to take things. So we're going to go back. We're going to try to hunt this one down here because the caution did come out from all of that. So I'm trying for, there's the yellow flag. Let's go back. Let's try to take a better look here because you can see it's already pretty much kicked off here. So let's go back a little more. And actually, yeah, we're going to take a look. So I'm not sure. Maybe it actually still found a way to kick off with those guys. We're going to take a look here. We'll start with the 23. Actually, I think the 49 may have got a piece of that as well. Here, let's go slow it down a little bit. And, oh, actually, it did kick off with them. As you look, the 19 gets into the... It's a little bit of everything, actually. So I'm not sure where it really officially kind of occurs. Let's go back one more time. We'll try to get one more better look at this one here. So it may have been also a little bit of our dreaded net code here. We're going to watch off the back of the 95 of Zachary Lima. So I think I saw a little bit of a net code response as well here. Let's take one more look. Actually, maybe a little bit of... I can't tell, honestly. But yeah, you see the 49, the 35 getting caught up in that one. And unfortunately, nothing he could do there. Contact with that truck to the outside. I believe that was the 32, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, BK Anderson. And then you see from here, everybody else just trying to save these trucks here. And then we'll go back and we'll say we'll kind of speed things back up and take a look here as well to see the after effects, if you will. See, oh, big slider from the 55 there, trying to avoid that wreck as well. And see Gabe Butler locked the truck down as well to avoid that. So then we'll jump back to the 23. And yeah, there, I say we just caught the tail end of it. We'll go back a little more here. Oh yeah, it was definitely a little more aggressive than I saw initially. And oh, big hits for both of them there with the frustrations bowling over there, Maxwell. So yeah, you were spot on. Very, very upset drivers, and I think that's pretty much going to be the force the hand on the faster pair there for Sebastian Marin.
Absolutely, and as you were reviewing the replay, I kept my eyes on him, and Guy, even coming to pit road, we had the 19 just slamming in the back of the 23. The 23 brake checking him coming on to pit road, and just tempers were flaring. I even turned up the driver chat to try to hear what was going on because there definitely was some radio chatter between the two, but I couldn't catch it in time. So definitely think the admins will go back and review this race. And I'm not going to lie, I think there's going to be penalties on both the 19 and the 23 for some of the actions on track. It's okay to show displeasure a little bit, but when you do it after the caution comes out and you hit more than once, what happened on the front stretch that you caught on replay was enough. But when you start doing it even coming down pit road and saying bring it on and all that stuff, man, it's just that's going to call for some admin review, and I don't see that going well for either one of these drivers tonight. But definitely didn't see a lot of respect up front. The Dale Cup guys are very, very aggressive, and I'm not saying that's bad, but with some of these other guys, that really causes some problems when they're trying to just pass and they get their noses chopped or this or that, or they think they're getting raced wrong. So definitely some tempers flaring tonight, Gaio. We got some tempers flaring. I've been in a broadcast where I had some tempers flaring, and you had to commentate on it a couple times, so I know all about it.
We've been there, done that with various series and stuff, and I say it's again, I mean, it's part of racing. You hope that everybody's just here to have fun, have a good time, but occasionally, I say, like you said, tempers do flare a little bit. And yeah, I say this is going to get interesting because we are. I mean, again, this is all pending going green with us, with everything going on. Not that realistic, if I kind of feel like that we're at that point now, but we're gonna get this one to go here at 24 to go, which means a restart with 23 to go. Can these trucks, without a caution, if a caution comes out, I think they're good to go to the window, but without a caution, could these guys make it 23 laps on fuel?
Gael, that's going to be, I think, if I remember correctly, I believe the fuel window is like 22 laps. So either them topping off is going to be what benefits, which most of the field topped off right there.
Yeah, fourth on back.
Or just absolutely just, I don't know that the Gabe Butler strategy is not going to be what wins it. Just hang out at the back. Just ride. Lift everywhere. Let these other trucks pull yours. when you're down the straightaway, be half throttle, 3/4 throttle, whatever it takes, just to ride and save that extra little bit of fuel. But you're going to have to do it from the very, very start. And then I'd say with 5 laps to go, you're going to have to go for it. And either you make it or you don't. So definitely going to be tight, but definitely got some interesting strategies going on here. And got a lot of drivers up front. I don't know how, but we still have the 41 of Donald Sadusky still up front after all that mess. So, been a very interesting race. And, you know, a lot of these guys, ever since they got knocked out of the lead, they didn't really make it back. The Dale Cup guys did, but the rest of them kind of still stayed in the back. It's going to be interesting to see now as we're in the last third of this race, past lap 50, with only, what's it going to be, about 23 to go at the line?
23 at the line, yeah.
So definitely going to see who's ready to go and who's not. Man, if it's 23 at the line and these guys topped off, they're going to have to save. But someone like Donald Sadusky and these 3 or 4 that stayed out, man, look at this. They're only double file for what, maybe 2 rows? And that's it?
2 rows double file, and the first one on the single file is the 17 of Jimmy Reynolds. And apologies to Jimmy and fans of Jimmy Reynolds, as I haven't talked about him at all, I don't think, tonight. But saying maybe a good thing. So I won't say too much about him right now. Like I said, the only truck, though, on that inside line. So now it's going to be interesting to see what do we see here on this restart. Does maybe Donald go a little early, try to get that, like I said, kind of split the field back up here. But so far, looks like they're going to wait till that green flag flies. And I say we're going to see that in just a moment as the green flag does come out. And we are back underway here. 23 to go. I say it's right on the edge of the fuel window. We said there's been some tempers, and we definitely saw that last time around. So we'll see what we've got the remainder of this one here.
Absolutely, and I'm not as worried about the 23 getting back to the 19 as I am how the 49 right here will race the 19. Oh, the 49 going to drop back to get his teammates. He's going to come back there and pick them up, or he's ready to start fuel saving.
Save right away. Yeah, it's very possible.
Get back in this pack, get them to tow him along. We see Ryan Kelly back here, one of the drivers that topped off and wanted to go. He's not all the way in the back, but he's right there with Gabe Butler. He's in good hands right there. So definitely he may be working with that one of Gabe Butler and some other guys on this fuel save strategy just to make it to the end. But I still say with 5 to go, you're going to have to position yourself to win the race if you're going to be the first one to make it on fuel. So this shapes up, if this goes green the rest of the way, that we're going to have a very interesting outcome. And I'm still waiting to see if this 23 drives up through the field and gives that 19 a hard way to go, especially after that contact coming down pit road under caution. That was definitely, I don't know, they may not hit each other again, but man, he's definitely not going to cut that 41 any favors of Donald Sadusky.
Yeah, there definitely won't be any slack given between the two of them, but yeah, you hope that the admins probably stepped in at this point and say, hey, you guys are going to let this race play out and not do anything done with one another, because they say I think that's where things will become just that much worse. But I'm going to drop back a little further because unfortunately a few trucks that fell off this lead pack are right on the edge of hopefully trying to make this draft. Are Todd Siebels, Dean Wilkinson, Jack Walls, and I'd say right now not looking good for Jack. However, it looks like the gap is slowly shrinking for Todd Siebels and Dean Wilkinson. They got to get just a little closer to pick up that draft of that 95 truck, and I think they'll be okay. But right now, Jack Walls looks like, yeah, he's completely lost that draft. You can see the interval is just going the wrong way for him. So, unfortunately, that restart did not go the way he was hoping for. But up front, though, you've got 3 trucks on the outside line. You've got Bud Steele, you've got Robert DuPont, and you've got Donald Sadusky. But then it's like I said, I haven't talked about Jimmy Reynolds, and now here he is leading that inside row. And he's got Dave Thatcher behind him, Mark Mastrella in that 66, and then Bob Fitzgerald in that 08 truck right now. And you can see the gaps forming with these trucks. I think everybody right now really thinking fuel right here at this point.
They'd have to be. I don't think these top...
Oh, here we go. We got some early pit stops.
Oh, wow. Some of them, knowing they can't make it, they just want to come and put that least amount of fuel possible in and try to make it. Let me guess, guys. Gabe Butler, one of them on pit road?
Yeah, he's teamed up with the Dale Cup guys here, so we'll see. I think he saw them go. It's like, you know what, I got to do something too, so he might as well try to tag on with them. So all 4 of them are going to get just a little splash of fuel here. So far, looks like everybody hits their stalls cleanly. Now you got to see if they all come out nice and even as well. It looks like they're going to do so here. So you got those 4 trucks coming out together. So now do we see any response from these guys? But again, what this does do as well, though, Maxwell, is let's say this is at 20 to go here, so they're good to go to the end. Probably another lap or two as well if we get green, white, checkers. I want to see, does anybody react? And we do have Ryan Kelly. Yep, here comes Ryan. Ryan's going to come in by himself, so he's going to have to get an aggressive pit entry to be able to try to tag onto those 4 that pitted that last time around. But again, I think someone's got to take the gamble here. Someone's got to try to save fuel all run here. And right now, I think one of those that's in that best position is most likely, I want to say, the 66 of Mark Mastraya. I really like where he's been this full run. He's been on the inside, hasn't really been forcing the issue. I mean, right now, if we stay green, I'm watching that 66. I think he needs to stretch this thing all the way to the end. 08 as well of Bob Fitzgerald. I put my finger on those two as ones to maybe try to run those fuel number out to the end.
What scares me is knowing the experience of Gabe Butler and the Liddell Cup guys, that they would have this fuel number down to a T, and they still felt the need that they had to pit under green to be able to make it to the end. Knowing that even if we get a caution, that they'll cycle out to be the leaders. So it's really, as long as they don't go a lap down, it's no harm, no foul that they pitted under green. So I like that strategy, because even if the caution does come out, these other guys may pit. But that caution also could be enough to help these guys save the rest of their fuel, and then they are stuck in some track position. But as long as they don't go a lap down, I think they would be able to be a lot more aggressive than some of these other drivers out here. But the ones leading the field right now, especially that didn't stop and want to go, they're going to have to pit regardless, and I think they're in a hole. Because if they have to pit under caution, they're going to drop behind a whole lot of guys unless they bring a lot with them. So I don't think we're done with cautions tonight, Gael. I haven't seen the evidence all season long to show that we're done with that. Matter of fact, I believe one of the last races we did together a couple weeks ago, was it not 3 attempts in the green, white, checkered, or was it at least 1?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember offhand. That's a good point. And I do need to mention, unfortunately, Ryan Kelly did not get able to tag onto the back of those 4 trucks that pitted, so he's going to be off on his own. So he's pretty much going to have to look for yellow to get himself back in the race here. But I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I guess on the positive side. So I don't know how you'd phrase that one, but look at this line here. I see a lot of strategy here. I think they say, you know what? All right, these guys, they pitted early. They're banking on this thing having a caution, and then jumping out in front of us having a splash. I think there is going to be at least 2 or 3 trucks that are going to make this strategy gamble go. Whether or not it works is another question. But I'm again, the 2 that I really am going to be watching are going to be Mark Mastraya and Bob Fitzgerald. And as I said, here comes a few trucks heading in now. That's going to be, looks like Dean. It looks like actually I think it's going to be pretty much the TW Motorsports guys of Dave Thatcher, Dean Wilkinson, Robert Rock, and Brandy Miner. Those 4 are hitting pit road. So that's going to start kind of shrinking that group down a little bit, slows down their speed a little bit. And actually, do need to mention leader last time by Todd Siebel's 51.99. The group that pitted was Sebastian Mayer leading that pack 51.31. So over 0.6 of a second quicker that last time around.
And that's why the guys that know they're going to pit like that, I don't know why they stay in the pack. Because they know when you get those fast guys all together, even though they're only a pack of 4, they can outrun these other guys who are lifting and having to check up and having to do. So that pack of 4 single file is going to be a heck of a whole lot faster than this pack we got right now. But again, 1 caution can change everything. They still got to make sure that they get past all these guys to make their strategy work. So it's not ever over till it's over, right, Gael? We've still got another 15 laps
more,
to race here. So it's not over till it's over. A caution can come out at any time. And how many times have we heard before that a yellow can change everything?
Yeah, and that it definitely can and would if it does. So right now we've got 8 trucks in this lead pack still. Like I said, Todd Siebel's leading J.D. Crow, Donald Sadusky, Robert DuPont, Bud Steele, Jimmy Reynolds, Mark Mastraya, and Bob Fitzgerald. Those that topped off on the 1 to go include Todd Siebel's J.D. Crow. However, they're the front 2 trucks right now, so they don't see any fuel save happening out of those 2. And then same thing goes, you've got Robert DuPont as one of those in the 07 who also topped off, along with Jimmy Reynolds, Mark Mastraya, and Bob Fitzgerald. And as I said, here comes a bunch of trucks in, and I think this is going to be, like I said, this is kind of the nail in the coffin, because unfortunately that only leaves 2 trucks here out, including Bob Fitzgerald and then the truck a lap down of James Hickson. So yeah, so unfortunately I'd say that potential fuel stretch strategy looks like it's completely done and over with. And like I said, I mean, this is going to put advantage right over to those Dale Cup guys, because they didn't have the pace. and they're just, I'll say they're gonna be gapped by a couple of seconds by the time this pit stop completes.
Absolutely. But if this pack can form up and nobody speed, I mean, even though you got that group of 4 with these guys pitting a little later, you could see these guys line up and run them down, and we have a big race of about a 12 or 13 car lead pack. But you already see, look how much time that group of 4 made up. It's going to really take these guys all getting together in a pack and having to hunt these guys down. And Guile, they really don't have a whole lot of laps to do it, because they're really not formed up too well at the moment. So this could be a 4-car breakaway for the win. And let's just mention that it's the 2 teams that have dominated the season so far, and it's just going to be between them unless we have a caution.
Yeah, so the one thing, if I'm the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald, again, if you're trying to make this fuel strategy work, the problem is now, even with the lead you had, I don't know if you're going to be able to hold on to that lead. Right now it's about 24 seconds, but I mean, they've been gaining on by about a second or 2 a lap now with him being just with the 12 truck. But I would actually let the 12 truck by and just try to save every drop of fuel. If you're going to commit to the strategy, you commit all the way here. You just drop behind the 12. You use him as your pick here. Save fuel and just kind of see where your chips fall. But right now, say with Bob leading this group, I don't think he's going to have enough fuel, because now he's going to have to burn that much extra. And like you said, though, with those Dale Cup guys, they've now got about a 5-second gap just about over the next truck behind them, which is Donald Sadusky leading the second pack here. So right now, as they run, like I said, it's right now a 4-truck breakaway here. We'll wait for next time by. We'll let everybody cycle through, see what the speeds are looking like, to see if there's a chance that second pack with that bigger group of trucks can catch back up to these front 4.
Absolutely. And these front 4, I'm watching them right now. They're just running together, running bumper to bumper to bumper, super organized, not a ton of movement, getting air when they need to, but really just working together. And it does look like, if he didn't use it before, Gabe Butler did take that fast repair on that last stop, and so did the 23. The 95 still looks like got a wrinkle in the bumper, and the 49, shocked he didn't attempt to go ahead and use that, unless he was predicting that he was going to get wadded up and one toward the end. But I don't know that 49 now, being at the end, and nobody behind him, if he can really pull up or not, because he's now getting air put on that damaged rear spoiler. But these other top 3, man, they're going to be able to battle it out. But Gabe Butler's really in a bad position here. 3 teammates versus the 1 lone wolf. I don't know that Gabe Butler may be looking at a 4th place finish here, because they may hang him out to dry right at the end to try to get their team a 1-2-3 finish.
Yeah, so right now the odd man out for sure in that 1 truck. But like I said, right now Sebastian Marin leading the second group, 2nd place overall. However, was about 3 seconds quicker than Bob Fitzgerald, who again is trying to stretch the field number right now. We're just maybe trying to bank on the yellow, see what happens here. But I say he's going to come around next time to 10 to go. With him leading, I just don't think he's going to have the field to make it to the end here, unfortunately. Saying just isn't letting the 12 by. Like I said, I feel like he should have let the 12 on by to try to save fuel, but right now that hasn't happened. So I think right now Bob just maybe trying to run this thing as far as he can and see how it all plays out. And then also got to mention the groups behind them. They've actually kind of equaled out on speeds. Maxwell is a 51.74 for Sebastian. And then the second group behind Donald Sadusky is a 51.78, so pretty much 0.04 of a second difference here. But again, with a much bigger group of trucks on that second pack here, but right now still holding at just about a 5-second margin.
Yes, but here's the problem. They have 10 laps to run down a 5-second margin. Oh, and that doesn't count the fact that they still got to pass these 4 guys.
Yep.
Who have shown to be in complete control when it was a full pack all race long. So you've definitely got, I think, the 4 fastest drivers in this league right now up front. They've shown the pace. Gabe Butler obviously involved in that incident early and had damage to the truck for the longest part of the race. But, man, it just always seems that no matter what, when we get down to the last 10 laps, Gabe Butler's right there in contention. But so are these Dale Cup guys who have been in a bunch of incidents but somehow still find their way to the front, even with damaged trucks, to just zip their way through the field. Their teamwork is impeccable. Definitely the class of the field as far as teams go right now. And just so much going on here. Gaio, this is your season. Your battle for your championship in these top 4, I think, right here. So, an interesting dynamic. And it looks like that backpack's really not making any time on these top 4. So, they're going to get to racing amongst themselves unless we have a caution.
Yes, and that's where the nerves are probably setting with the front four. Is all right. They know they're trying to catch us. Are they going to get too aggressive, make a mistake, and then make it where the caution comes out and brings us all back in with one another? So it's like I said, there's no sure thing here with this league and with this kind of racing. So like I said, right now it's kind of fallen back to about a 5-second gap now. So they're running decent times, but just not enough to compete with those top four. Again, last time I was about a tenth slower than the top four. But like I said, though, right now, I don't think we're going to see any movement from these top four drivers until maybe that last lap, and most likely probably, I wouldn't even say out of turn four. I'm going to say it's through the trial where we might see somebody make a move. But like I said, the problem is for that one truck of Gabe Butler, whatever you do, you know the opposite's going to happen behind you. So I think he might have to just hope to be that third place might be his best result opportunity tonight.
He's just going to have to block that 49. If that 49 snookers him. And what I'm afraid of is Gabe Butler going to try to hold on to the bottom, and all three of these Dale Cup guys are going to move that second lane. And as long as the 49 catches that draft, it would pull him up to them two, and Gabe has nobody behind to give him support. So Gabe's really going to have to drive defensively these last couple laps, because I don't see it all. Unless these Dale Cup guys try to race it amongst themselves, which we have seen before, I don't see where Gabe Butler's going to have the opportunity to go for the win. But hey, crazier things have happened, right, Gaio?
That they have, but yeah, I think these guys know exactly what's on the line for them right now. So I don't think, like I said, I don't think we see anything happen. I think we're going to see these guys just complete lockstep like they are right now until we catch that white flag. But again, I mean, look further back though. I mean, these guys are running 3 wide now for just a moment there, and again, it's a lot of movement, a lot of aggression, and I say for any of them that might be able to, like maybe one of the teammates that have retired, if they're watching or if they're kind of helping spotting or things like that, they're telling them, man, this isn't a done deal yet. These guys are still dicing up pretty hot and heavy here, so not feeling the most comfortable about that. As I say that, they're going to go 3 wide here through the trial. And I say they've done it plenty tonight, but I say when you're at the top 3, you love to see these guys stay 2 by 2, if not even single file.
Absolutely. So, let me see.
Oh, a little bit of contact there. That's exactly what they're worried about. But so far, everybody keeps it pointed in the right direction. But I say that's the nerves that you've got from those top 4. You want to settle out between the 4 of you. You don't want to bring any green-white checkers in or a late race restart, because I say we're next turn by. It's going to be 5 to go.
Yeah, if these guys wreck in the back, it's definitely going to be interesting. But these top 4 continue to pull away, making their gap even bigger now as they continue just to truck in a single file line as these guys race 3 wide behind. But yeah, the race is definitely at the back of the pack right now. You've got your eyes on that. I've got my eyes on the top 4 to make sure no crazy moves start getting made as we come down to the last 5 laps of the event tonight.
Yeah, again, like I said, I'm watching the second pack, and man, if it keeps up the aggression that we've got right now, I don't see this going into the end. I see a push gone wrong that's going to rack these guys back up with a late restart. So I say, for my sake, I hope I'm wrong, because you always like to see these races kind of play out naturally if you can. But as I say, we like I said, we've seen crazier things happen and wouldn't put it past them. Didn't mention the leaders. They had just caught Bob Fitzgerald. They're going to swing by around him right now. And that's actually, I think, the job number 1 for Gabe Butler is to get through those guys cleanly and get back in the draft, and he does. And as I say that, there goes the 08. Now he's going to hit pit road for his final stop, coming to 4 to go here. So unfortunate strategy gamble did not pay off for him.
Gabe Butler could have a best friend in Ryan Kelly if he can latch onto this group, and it looks like he may just have a sniff of that draft. If he could get sucked up, that is Gabe Butler's ticket to racing these Dale Cup guys, because knowing Ryan well, I think he would run with Gabe, knowing how much he's raced with him in the past and not really racing with his Dale Cup guys. I think that would be Gabe Butler's best friend right now if he can suck up and get to the back bumper of that one.
Yeah, I think he's just close enough where he will be able to do so. As you see, they're coming up on the 30 truck. Again, just sticking it out here. Again, hats off to that 30 of John Gabbard. Say worked his way now up into the 19th position just by staying out and running this race out here. And yeah, sure enough, the 24 truck has gotten there. Say they're going to come across here, 3 to go. Like I said, these leaders, they want to see that white flag fly, then they'll feel comfortable to race it out with one another. So I'm going to jump back here again to that battle for 5th on back, because again, these guys are definitely dicing it up still.
Absolutely, and Ryan Kelly now has caught that front pack, so you keep your eyes back there. I'll keep my eyes on front. We've got dual action here, 2 different races within the race. We got the race for 5th and a good top 5 finish that is really heating up as they're side by side in the back. But then we've also got this front pack that the lap truck of Ryan Kelly could be exactly what Gabe Butler needs to put a race to these Dale Cup guys as we come to the out of turn 4, heading to 2 to go.
Yes, and they also are catching a little bit of traffic here. They're going to catch that 66 truck here of Mark Mastraya, so we'll see if that comes into play as well. So I think they will catch him before they get to the end of this race, so that could also hamper things as well. It might shake things up a little bit because whenever you catch lap traffic, you never know how it's going to shake out. But like I said, 2 to go here for the leaders up front. They're getting close to about a lap and a half to go. And saying so far as everything's going the way they want it to, but they're hoping again. They say, all right, just let us get through this half lap here, and then from there you guys do whatever you want to do. We just want to see that white flag and settle out amongst ourselves.
Absolutely, and as long as this backpack can hold it together, I believe we're going to get a white flag. No green-white checkers tonight. Ryan Kelly is tucked up behind that 49. They're starting to look a little high, but the thing is, if the 49 doesn't make a move, I think Ryan Kelly actually sticks with the 1, and if he can get to the back bumper, we will have a race for the win, I believe, here, folks, tonight. But as that front pack comes through the tri-oval across the start-finish line, it'll be 1 lap to go here at Talladega Superspeedway.
Yeah, they got the white flag they're looking for now. This is where the racing's going to pick up here. Do we see a move from Zachary Lima over Sebastian Marin? We've seen the 2 winners tonight this season been the 23 and the 1. You know that 95 is going to want to get a win, but we also know we've seen the teamwork, we've seen the unselfishness. Do we see anything from them tonight? But right now, like you said, there just hasn't been any big moves here. And in the back there, I think Donald Sadusky, I think popped the motor there. Got a little too hot pushing at the end. Unfortunately, that's going to drop him to the back of that pack. Right now, coming out of 4th, he's still holding pretty locked steady. You see Gabe starting to peak a little bit.
He's making the move. He's going to use that side draft. He's going to make the move for 2nd. It looks like the teammate. No, he's going to go with the 1. Oh, they touch. They're below the apron. 3 wide across the line for 2nd. Oh, that's close. I don't know.
Oh, that was close. I'm not sure what's going to cycle through. And it looks like actually the big move at the end there by Steve Krosik is going to move him from 4th to 2nd there. What a move by Steve, even with that damaged truck to grab that 2nd spot. But I say Gabe Butler is saying, I'm looking at the ticker on the left here. You've got 0.08, 0.08, 0.08 for those 2nd, 3rd, and 4th positions there. So we'll go back. We'll look to see how close it was. And then a little further on back, it's going to be Dean Wilkinson that grabs that top 5 position over Dave Thatcher in that 420. And I believe there may have been some contact at the end at that checkered flag, but we'll say what we're going to do, though, is we're going to keep an eye on, I don't know, this 23 truck. He might, maybe saving field to do some burnouts here. But, man, I say he's going to be a happy driver. That's 3 wins out of 4 for that 23 of Sebastian Marin with 4 poles to go to it as well.
Have you seen so much dominance out of a driver for a start of a super speedway season? 3 wins, 4 poles, proving that he is championship material right now. He is straight up dominating this league. He's won every single race thus far at Talladega Superspeedway. Gabe Butler, the only one to get the win at Daytona. So the teammates for Dale Cup, eventually you're going to say, when's it my turn? When's that 23 going to push me? But definitely extending his points lead. Man, that 23 is on a roll this season, Guile.
That he is, and say we're pulling up the start-finish line camera here between that 49, the 95, and the 1, and I mean it's beyond close. So you can definitely see the 95 and the 49 just a nose ahead of that 1 truck. And it looked like there was just a tiny bit of contact as well with the 95 and the 1 through the travel. I think, again, everybody trying to squeeze one another there. But like I said, at the end of the day, though, it's going to be Sebastian Marin getting that well-deserved win once again. I'll say, again, very, very hard-fought racing with him. I'll say, and we saw some of that frustration early on in the race, but he's able to recover, put himself back to the front, and be able to grab that win tonight.
Absolutely. Battled through attrition, battled through a rivalry, battled through everything. And Guile, guess what we get to do with that 23? we'll get to interview him and ask him all about his race.
That's true.
Looking
And so now
forward
we
to
also
that.
get to ask about the spoilers on the back of these trucks. So say we're joking about that one, the 95. So and so actually that's who we're going to be starting off with as well. So we're going to get him lined up over here. We'll switch back over to that white flag lap so we can watch that truck there. All right, so we're going to pull that number 95 in here. Third place finisher there. I say Steve Carosa kind of put a little snooker job on you guys to steal that second place away from fourth there. But I say we're going to start off though. We saw at the back of that 49 truck. Is that a pronunciation of your last name? Is it actually Zachary Lima instead of Zachary Lima, like I've probably been botching all season long?
It's Lima, but my buddies call me Lime.
Ah, so there we go. So I actually had it right, and they're just the ones that are giving you. That's what friends are for, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, take us through the race because obviously a little bit of everything going on tonight. Say, it seems only 3 cautions. I'll say probably felt like more. Say definitely some. We definitely saw some frustrations boiling over throughout the course of the race. A little bit of some survival there as well at the end. I say a lot of trucks unfortunately having to retire at the end of this race. But say another front row start with you and your teammate Sebastian there, and then be able to grab that third place. But like I said, anything but the status quo. And Max and I were kind of in the debate of did we get an official green flag stop? Well, actually, no, we did on that last stop. Now that I think about it, but that first stop though, so you guys just hit pit road. The caution comes out right afterwards. I mean, what's going through your mind there? Do you feel like okay, that's kind of a free stop, or you don't even have to worry about because you made it all safely in? I mean, and do you make any adjustments when you know it's now under yellow? Maybe throw tires on instead of fuel only. I mean, what's the strategy there when something like that happens at the last second?
Well, yeah. So pretty much me, Sebastian, and Korosek, we're on a team, and we wanted to come in early and try to pull away from the pack. I think Gabe came with us, and worked out well. We all had a good pit stop and came out quick and came out ahead.
Yeah, I say from there we're watching lap times. I mean, even with the bigger group, you guys were just the smoothness, everybody just kind of working almost as one unit there to be able to work their way forward there. So, it was a great job, like we were mentioning, for you guys to get up there. Saying of course those you got about what 10, 15 laps at least of where you guys it's going to be between the 4 of you unless something happens further back. I mean, how much stress was there as well, where it's like, come on, just get to that white flag and then we can see who's going to kind of win out at the end between the 3 of us.
Yeah, it's tough coming to the white, but generally, with the team, I don't try to pass my teammates. If I'm pushing, I stay pushing. But we had a bunch of other fast drivers like Gabe, always staying at the front winning, and Korosek. We're just a good team and we work well together.
Yeah, I mean that you definitely do. I mean it's been showing all season long. I mean it's something that Maxwell and I we've been commenting on pretty much from race number 1. So, but I mean yeah, just again hats off to you guys. It was a great battle there coming to the check. We saw Gabe try to see if he could get that side draft, get a little bit of momentum, and then of course Steve makes the big move from the bottom to the top. But able to hold on to that third place finish. So definitely want to give you the floor. I know you guys will be happy to get that 1, 2, 3 for the team. But yeah, I mean, just take us through, and then let's say any thanks and shots you'd like to give for that third place tonight.
Yes, sir. Just want to thank everyone throwing the race together, Area 51, and my team, and you guys. Thanks for the broadcast.
Congrats again, Zach. A great run for you this evening. So I look forward to seeing you next week. So you got. So you're going to kind of probably feel a little bit like Groundhog Day. You got Talladega next once more, and then, of course, then back over to Daytona for a race. So enjoy this one. Look forward to catching you again next week, sir.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
All right, that's going to switch us now over to Steve Korosek and that number 49 machine. Max, we were talking about him having the damage all race long, that right rear damage, and somehow able to hang on to it. I say we were skeptical if Steve was going to be able to put a move on at the end because he was kind of the caboose in that train and a little bit of right rear spoiler damage. But so you saw the one truck make the move and then you kind of went went up and went even up a little more, and as a fourth to second coming through the trial, that feels like probably a pretty good move in the end for you to be able to grab those couple spots, get those extra points there.
Yes, sir. It was a team move to help my teammate get the win. Gabe was coming with the momentum, so I just went to outside of him to try and stall him out and end up with second. I'll take it.
Yeah, so kind of a teamwork move, say with a little extra perk to jump yourself up a couple spots as well. Definitely worthwhile. So you basically limped with that damage pretty much the whole race. It felt like. Did you wind up having to burn a fast repair early on, and then so you were just pretty much you had what you had, or did you feel like just saving that fast repair just in case of a late caution where things could get real dicey, just to have it in your back pocket, or what was the strategy there on the little bit of damage you had left on that 49 truck?
Yeah, I got involved in a wreck early, and I got hit. It said I had a 4X, so I went in and I tried to use an optional. It was about 30 seconds, and I never ended up using my fast repair because I was saving it in case there was a green light checker at the end, and I never had to use it. So luckily, I was just able to hook up with my teammates, and we were able to go to the front, no problem. And then we executed our last pit stop pretty good, and it got us out ahead. We were just kind of riding, waiting for the trial at the last lap. It was nice. It's a good race.
Yeah, so now it's kind of what we were feeling as well with Maxwell and I, where you guys were wanting to see that white flag, and then from there we kind of suspected probably no moves until out of 4, most likely even through the trial. Well, of course, that's where really with Talladega, that's where you really want to make those moves. So I asked Zachary about this as well. What about on your side here? With of course you guys separating away by about that 4 or 5 seconds. Were you at all looking at the intervals behind you and looking at looking at your mirror and seeing if those guys were behaving back there, hoping it stayed green, or what was your thought process going into that last bit until you finally got that white flag?
I was just trying to focus on staying as close as I could to Gabe, so that way we carried a little more speed. The closer that all those cars are together, the faster you move. So I was just so focused on that, but I would peek every now and then to check up, and I saw that we were putting time in, so I wasn't worried.
Well, yeah, you definitely did a great job. Like I said, yeah, you made it look easy. You say the 4 of you working together there for sure. So just hats off, Steve, and definitely want to give you the floor here. Any thanks and shots you'd like to give on your side for that second place run here?
Yeah, I just want to thank TW and Area 51 for putting it on. This is a very fun league to race in. There's a lot of good guys in here, and I gotta thank Dale Cup, my teammates, Sebastian Marin, Zachary Lima, and Duke Cup boys. They're John Gabbard, Jason Middleton. They ran pretty good too, but I had some bad luck. And I want to thank you guys for the broadcast. I can't wait to watch it in a couple minutes here.
Yeah, definitely a lot. Those are definitely was going to be some to look back over for sure. Say a little bit of drama, a lot of excitement as always. But yeah, just hats off to you guys to say getting that 1, 2, 3 for your team tonight. So enjoy this one, and saying we're going to go bother your teammate here.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right, that's going to bring us over to our race winner in that number 23 truck of Sebastian Marin. Say we were talking about at the beginning of the race, sporting the Red Bull kind of throwback retro scream that we saw them run a few weeks back. Saying obviously worked out pretty well for you here tonight. So you're 4 for 4 in qualifying pole positions. You're 3 out of 4 on the wins with the league. So I'll say it's a pretty good start to the season. Let's say so. I mean, we'll start off with that. I mean, it's just awesome job through the season. And Max and I have talked about. We don't think we've really seen someone have this dominant of a season in a long time. Let's say, especially with as competitive as it's obviously been over here. Let's say, of course, we'll be hard pressed not to talk about the kind of the close calls you had a few times, having to try to catch that truck with some aggressive pushing, and obviously some frustrations boiling over during when that caution came out. But I mean, the recovery you're able to do to get back up front, the strategy called by you and your teammates to get to the front, and then be able to control the race to the end. I'm sure it feels pretty good to kind of go through all that to still pull out the win here tonight.
Yeah, it's been a great start to the year. Like you said, 3 wins and all that. Been being at the right place at the right time. I've had great help with my teammates. We've been doing great things together. And this race was a little interesting, especially with that early wreck and only having one faster pair. So we were kind of playing with strategy, either to stay at the back or go to the front, and trying to find when it was the right time to go forward. And yeah, when we got to the front there, I had damage, so yeah, with being pushed pretty hard there, and I mean it didn't matter what I did, it was just shoving me all over the place, and I got a little upset with the guy that was pushing because I felt like give me a break. I have a little bit of damage. You can't push me like if my truck has no issues and expect that result that ended up being a wreck afterwards. And showed my displeasure. Obviously, it wasn't very mature of me to do that, but I was a little upset with that.
Yeah, I mean that's racing. Heat of the moment, things happen. I mean we've seen it from time to time. I say Maxwell and I were joking. Say we've been there, done that ourselves. I say Maxwell on the race side of things, me on the broadcasting side of things, having to kind of try to kind of balance between helping out with the league and kind of being unbiased as a broadcaster. It's always that fun little balance to try to tackle there. But yeah, I mean, still, like I said, just a great job by you guys. And I say the other question I didn't ask your teammates, but I do want to mention it here was we saw pretty much everybody on that last pit stop, or I should say before the last stop at the under green flag, under that caution, everybody topped off there at the end. Were there any thoughts about trying to stretch it on one more stop? And then, of course, when you guys ducked in and you saw everybody else staying out, did you feel like anybody was going to try to see if they could pull that 23 lap run off, or did you feel like there's just no physical way anybody was going to make that happen tonight?
I think it would have been very close. I think you would have had been saving from the start of the last run, and at no point could you be leading if you were even going to be close. And me and my team thought that I don't think anybody was going to be able to pull it off, and we were just trying to pit by ourselves, and we almost did. Our good friend there, Gabe, came down with us. He had the same strategy in mind. And yeah, it came down very close. I started sputtering into turn one after the checkered, so we cut it at a very fine line.
Yeah, so that was going to be the other question, of course, as well, was if you had any margin there to account for a potential green-white checker or not. So basically, if there was a late yellow, we'd be pretty much seeing all of you guys duck in there to get that little bit of extra fuel. Although you were probably obviously burning the most, leading that group as well. So kind of a blessing and a curse, if you will. They're kind of leading your teammates, but then of course burning the most fuel out of everybody as well there that last stint.
Yeah, we knew that if we got a yellow, it was gonna mess up the strategy. So we were hoping that it was gonna go green, which it did, and we're thankful for, because even if they were behind me, they weren't gonna make it of a green white checkered. They would have to gun 2 or 3 more laps, and I ran out entering one after the checkered, so I don't think they had much in the tank either.
Yeah, I'll say it's always nice when everything comes out exactly like you'd hoped for. And of course, then you got to mention, of course, that last dash to the finish there. We saw Gabe put the move on Zachary there to try to see if he could drag him back a little bit. And then Steve with the big move to the top to kind of stalled him out, and saying the three of them pretty much tied with at the 100th of a second mark, of course. But I say then for you guys to get the top three, it was a really, really exciting finish there at the end. But I'm sure on the team side of things, you guys are definitely pretty pleased to have a top three for your team there tonight.
Oh, absolutely. That was gonna be the plan. We were trying to see what outcomes we could do in the final lap to try and get us a 1, 2, 3, and we knew Gabe was gonna try something. I mean, he knows we're all teammates, but he wasn't just not gonna make a move. So we were gonna see when he was gonna make a move, see if he was gonna make it early, but he timed it great. And to be honest, I think if it wasn't for Steve kind of stalling him out a bit, I think he would have gone at least side by side with me. So, kudos to my teammates and for doing a great job and getting that 1, 2, 3 finish.
Yeah, you guys did an awesome job tonight. So before we let you go, though, definitely wanted to give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for getting that third win out of 4 tonight in the beginning of the season here?
Yeah, man, I want to give a shout out to my teammates, of course, Steve, Zach, fellow friends that were in the race, Jason, John, BK, and you guys for putting on this great broadcast like you do every week. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so you guys definitely keep it interesting and exciting for us week after week. I say there's no like feels like no downtime with your guys' racing. So it's been a lot of fun to broadcast, a lot of exciting 2-3 wide racing, a lot of different strategies that we saw tonight as well. So I say definitely enjoy this. Like I said, the streak has been a really impressive one to see. So still got plenty of racing left to go in the season though. So good luck and hopefully it keeps moving forward for you.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, Maxwell, that is our race winner in that number 23 truck, apologies, of Zachary Lima getting the win this evening. So we got to pull up our final results, though, for tonight. It's going to be Sebastian Marin over Steve Krosek, Zachary Lima. You see a thousandth of a difference between that 49 and the 95. And then you've got the Gabe Butler there in fourth, only 4 thousandths behind Zachary there. So the really close finish there for that second, third, fourth positions. And then, like I said, Dean Wilkinson able to kind of win the fight for that group behind over Dave Thatcher, Randy Miner, Bud Steele, Robert Rock. Again, upside down at one point in the race, comes back to a top 10. JD Crow as well in the top 10 tonight. Then you've got Jimmy Reynolds, Robert DuPont, Todd Siebels, Donald Sadusky, Bob Fitzgerald, Ryan Kelly, Mark Mastraya, and James Hickson. And then, unfortunately, some of these drivers not quite having the nights they were looking for, including John Gabber, Jack Walls, BK Anderson, Jason Milton, Nicholas Lamb, John Greenslate, Eric Laurie, Tom Pritchard, Michael Spell, Donald Kendrick, and Mark Brown round out our finishers of this evening. So yeah, Maxwell, a little bit of everything tonight. Saw some fuel strategy. We saw some formal official green flag pit stops through the season. So we don't have to worry about that half green flag pit stop anymore. And then some great drafting, some great teamwork once again by the Dale Cup guys. Gabe, of course, feeling probably like the odd man out there. Probably enjoying thinking back. It's like, man, it was nice when I had all my teammates running with me last season.
Absolutely. You know, we're seeing the tides turn a little bit in Area 51 since we've got this TW partnership now, right? So we're seeing a little bit of everything. And Guile, you know, I'll say I probably can't say this because I haven't seen a lot of the Sunday night action this season so far. But based on the past season when I got to broadcast with you some on Sunday nights, these trucks are so racy, so edgy, 3-wide action, and just all over the place. It has everything, right? We have the great racing up front, the really hard pushes, the big crashes, the fuel strategies, the pit strategies. We've got it all in this Thursday night league this season. And I'm really, at first I questioned, if I'm being completely honest, I questioned going to these from the Premier Series to go into Thursday Night Truck Series for Super Speedway. But man, how exciting have these races been. And like I said, I miss Daytona, but these Talladega races have been nothing short of phenomenal. It's had everything in it. And guys are able to come from the back to the front and recoup after having an incident on track, even if their trucks are damaged. It's been great. It's been awesome. And Gael, we have an absolute driver that's just dominating there with Sebastian Marin. I mean, looking at the points tonight, Gael, he has a 33-point lead over Gabe Butler in second. And remember what I talked about before, Gael? Bonus points matter. Gabe Butler has only 8 bonus points this season, and Sebastian Marin has 17 bonus points from getting on pole, leading laps, and winning. That's what's winning the championship right now and making it just a true runaway right here. So a lot of races to go though, Gael. Still quite a few left. So I think it's going to eventually come down to the wire. I don't know that Sebastian can dominate this long and just throughout a season the way he has so far. Eventually you would think the tides will turn with these super speedway races, but great racing so far this season, Gael, and I can't wait to see what's next in store.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast to see what these guys are going to kind of pull out of their hats. But I'll say the other thing, of course, too, is I say it's going to be the playoff format. So I'll say we've got I believe it's going to be 7 regular season races and the 4 playoff races. So right now, say obviously they're both positioning themselves to be in great position to make the playoffs. I say at this point you kind of feel like they're probably locks to make it in that Final Four. But then of course I say almost like you kind of wipe the slate clean and then just go after it for those Final Four. So I'll say while you're happy with the way it's going, you never know how the remainder of the season is going to go. So that's why we're here. That's why they race it. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be a lot of fun to see if he can keep up the streak that he's got going. It's always impressive when you can see these drivers do what they do and so effectively. So we're going to have to see what these guys have throughout the rest of the course of this season here.
Absolutely. And Gail, you bring up a great point, and I promise I'm almost done because we got to wrap up. But 8th place right now, the cutoff, right? Bud Steele, 81 points back. And Gael from 8th place down to, I think, 15th. 7-point difference for these plate races. 7 points between 8th place and 15th in points. Just 7 points, Gael. That bubble to get into those playoffs is tight down there at the bubble position. Watch for these to flip around each and every week all the way up till the cutoff.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's a very close on the points. We'll have to bring those up next week's race so you can see what the points are looking like going into next week's race. But yeah, like I said, it's all to play for. As I'm saying right now, that those bubble spots are very close. I'd say it's going to be very interesting. And we talk about it week after week, bonus points, things like that. Every point's going to matter. So I'll say it's not just about the wins and everything like that. It's going to be to get into that top 8 to make the final 4. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Maxwell, as always, a pleasure having you up here with me doing these things. I'll say these guys make it easy, I feel like, for us. They put on some awesome racing week after week. So I'll say definitely stay tuned for that if you want to see more of it. If you enjoy the Super Speedway racing, they'll be back again on Sunday with the Xfinity cars. I say that's over at Max Speed TV, and then of course back on Monday as well with Max Speed TV for the Next Gen series, which I know, Maxwell, you've been doing really well with over there as well. And then, of course, back again on Tuesday over here at Green White Checker TV for the Dark Horse Racing League Area 51 Indy Series. So I'll say got 4 nights of racing, 4 nights of broadcasting, and it's been a lot of fun doing this. Say for a couple of seasons now, and I say it seems like you kind of blink and you're going further and further.
Absolutely. It's been a great season so far. You brought up the Monday nights. I had a bad race last week, so I'm looking to rebound Monday, but continuing to hold on to the points lead there. Kind of fun. Hoping these cars get racier and racier as we go. Little updates here and there to that next gen. Just trying to learn those. And, man, these Thursday nights, Gael, I can't wait to come back next week if you'll bring me back and let me commentate some more of this great action that we've been seeing.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you with me. So yeah, I say pretty much consider a standing invite from my side, Maxwell. Those that are watching that support us here at Green White Checker TV with, of course, Area 51 as well. Really appreciate everything you guys do. Say it makes it a lot more fun to be able to interact with you guys on a week by week basis, night by night as well. It feels like now lately as well. So I say that being said, we are done for tonight. As always, though, happy Friday Eve. Hope you all have a wonderful upcoming weekend. So I got Halloween coming up soon. Hopefully you got all your costumes and decorations ready and get to have some fun, hopefully, with the kiddos. Or yourself if you're a kiddo at heart as well. Until then, have a wonderful evening and take care. And we'll see you again here on Tuesday night. Take care, everyone.